The sprint process allows us to have a vision and a goal together, but because it's planned, it's allowing people to go narrow and deep, have that stop and think moment and go, okay, what's not working, what is working? What does the evidence and what does the research tell us? So let's go back to that. Whereas often before, people would have a good idea and just run with a good idea because it felt good.
Opening up learning sprints to enable all class teachers to use it will be beneficial because teachers will all notice similar trends going on with where students are struggling. And I think pulling children right back to where that base level that they need before going and jumping way ahead is really important for success.
So we were coming together as a brand new PLC. I feel like the sprints gave us a purpose, a direction, a structure. So when we came together, it kind of organised our thinking.
I think in the past, even though our PLCs have been collaborative, they've also not really been structured. So it can become really bogged down with some of the stuff you don't need to spend all that time doing. And using the sprint cycles, you're just targeted and you've got the results, evidence-based results. So you know why you're getting what you're getting, you know which way you want to go and how you're going to get there. Prior models of PLC would sort of be, I'm going to do this, we do it for a whole term, oh it didn't work, well that's unlucky because we now have to move on to a different topic and we don't have time to change.
We had the misconception that we had to go somewhere else when we hadn't actually perfected the previous one. So we had the conversations around that and decided what we needed to do was actually go back and reteach what we hadn't successfully taught previously.
And making sure that we're asking ourselves, well, why is this so important? What's the impact if we don't address this first?
The thing that I found that most interesting out of that was the fact that even though we had 3 different year levels, we all realised that children were struggling with the same areas.
Yes.
So that was able to be targeted.
We used the boulder pebble sand tool. It took quite a while to really drill down to exactly where we wanted to take the learning. We had the misconceptions and then we had to plan exactly what shift we wanted to see. Because everybody was involved in that dialogue, I think that everybody was invested in it and took ownership. We were also tracking that journey. So when it came to the review, we had data around the growth and we were able to sit together and explore that.
The student heat map, which we thought was really helpful, and we based it on a pre and post test that we did, as well as our observations and conversations that we've had with the kids throughout the process. But there was a specific group that we targeted to collect the data on to see if our practice was successful or not. And then we used that to determine who did shift, who didn't, and why. And then we could reset from there.
And then you see the results 4 weeks later, and then that makes you want to do another one because you know that it's successful. And if it isn't successful, if you have a failure, then it's like, well, that's what we tell the kids, right? You learn from it. So you learn from your failure, you have another go.
Pull out your learning sprints, focus on an area and go for it. Once you fix that gap, move on to the next. So my question to any school wondering, should we try this? My question is, why wouldn't you try it? Just do it because it absolutely works.